God hit you with one thing and keeps going. I'm going to bless you. Now I need you to be fruitful. Now I need you to multiply. That's a job. Because now this multiply means to be or become great, to be or become many, to be or become much, to be or become numerous. Webster describes it as to cause something to increase greatly. And the synonyms for it are breed, procreate, reproduce, propagate, to make new. This is the same thing what God told Abraham. God told Abraham, Abraham, I need you to leave your father and your mother. I got something to show you. I need you to leave your father and your mother. I got something to show you. I got something to show you because people are going to be blessed through you. If you leave your father and your mother, Abraham, so many people are going to be blessed through you that if you can count the sand of the sea, if you can count the dust, you'll be able to count how many people is going to be blessed through you. If I can bring this to our time, God is telling somebody to leave your comfort zone. You ain't going to never get started in your purpose being around your comfort zone. You ain't going to never get started in your purpose being in that area that you trusting in more than God. God is calling somebody been telling you for the last 10 years, go ahead and go back to school. Don't worry about how you're going to pay it. Go ahead and get the education. I know you're 80 years old, but go back and go get it. God is telling somebody to walk into the unknown. I'm going to provide for you. David said, there's two things I've never seen. I was a young man, but now I'm old. There's two things I've never seen. I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. If you walk out on faith, God gonna take you to where you need to go. All God told Abraham was leave, and people gonna be blessed. Leave, and people gonna be blessed. Didn't tell them nothing in the middle. You're gonna have to stand up and walk into your destiny. I don't care what it looks like. You're gonna lose a few dollars. You may lose the home. You may lose the car. You may lose them fancy clothes. You may have to eat rag, bologna, and mustard all day. You may have to eat Skittles for breakfast. But God gonna provide for you until you get to where you need to go. Too many people living beneath what God created them to be. Touch yourself and say, I refuse to do it. Not anymore. I refuse to be less than what God created me to be. I refuse to be less than what God told me I can be. I ain't going to do nothing else no more until I find out what it is that I'm created to be. You got to find it out. You got to put in the work. If you're breathing, I don't care what the age is. It's something left for you to do. I don't care how much you accomplished. It's something left for you to do. It's something left that God got to bless the world with what's in you. It may not be the whole world universally, but it can be your world. It can be your life. What God is trying to infuse into the energy of this world. No more negativity surrounding your life. God created you for greatness, but you got to be it. You got to walk into the unknown. You got to cultivate what it is that God got for you. But it ain't enough just to be blessed. It ain't enough just to be fruitful. It ain't enough just to multiply. God gonna hit you with something else. Now you got to fill it up. Now you got to be accomplished. Now you got to be satisfied. Now you got to be fulfilled. Now you got to be complete. Now you got to be confirmed. In other words, Webster says this as to put into as much as can be held or conveniently contained. In other words, if we combine the Hebrew meaning and the Webster meaning of the word together, it's safe to say that you would not be satisfied, you would not feel accomplished, you would not feel complete, you would not feel up until you can fill out in the world what God has filled up in you. You would not feel like you have been used until you spread out into the world what God has spread out inside of your heart. This is why so many people get up in age and look back and ask themselves, what have I done? What have I accomplished? I'm coming to tell you right now that if you start now doing what God tells you to do, you won't have to get up in age and say, what have I done? Or what have I accomplished? You can get up in age and say, look what I accomplished. I stepped out into the unknown. I stepped out on faith. Now I can sit back and enjoy my fruits. Now I can sit back and enjoy my grandkids. Now I can sit back and enjoy my life. Now I can sit back and be glad that I did what God created me to do. To be accomplished. God telling some people, you got to get out of Memphis. You know too many people. Get out of Memphis. You'll never know me because you know too many people. You can call on mama anytime you want to. You can call on grandmama when you want to. You can call on brother, sister when you want to. You can call on the job when you want to. But you got to get out of the comfort zone of your mother and your father. You got to get out the comfort zone of what you've been trusting in all of your life. Some of y'all sick and you think it's because of what you've been eating. It's that job of yours that got you sick. It ain't what you've been eating. It's the job got you feeling like you need to take a pill. It's the job got you feeling. That's why I had to quit being a musician. I've been doing it all my life. God said, you got to get away from it. I said, God, that's what I've been knowing. You got to get away from it. What good is you going to play and you about to stroke out at the age of 30? Get out of it. What, God, I make this amount of Sunday. Do you trust me? A week after I made that decision to drop it, the next week I found out I'm having another baby. I said, God, what you leading me to? What you leading me to? You put it in my heart to step out on faith, and the next week I'm having another baby. What you lead me to? I had the house to myself. And I prayed like I never prayed before. I said, God, you told me to quit. I wouldn't have quit if I hadn't felt it was in my heart. You told me to do it. Now you're going to have to make a way. And God told me in these words right here. I felt it in my spirit. When have I ever let you down? When have I ever done it? That little piece of change you make on a Sunday ain't nothing compared to what I got for you if you keep going. If you keep going, what I got for you is going to be greater than what you making now. And it ain't summed up in money, but I was putting my trust in my comfort zone. I couldn't see what God had for me. I couldn't see what I was created for. Every time somebody saw me, they want to ask me, can I play for them? That's all right. But I'm more than the organ. I'm more than the drums. I'm more than my job. I'm more than what my boss paid me. I'm more than the kind of car I drive. I'm more than the kind of neighborhood I live in. I'm more than how my body tells me I look. You don't have to be slim, brim, and trim to be what God created you to be. They told us we came from monkeys. We look pretty good to me. God created us to be something more. If you go into your job and about to stroke out, what good is it going to do if you can't see your kids? Forget that. Miss Taylor told me 2 weeks after I quit being a musician, she said, you look better. She said, your countenance has changed. The headaches had stopped. My arm was hurt. That stopped hurting. You hurt because you know you're not doing what God called you to do. You're sick because you know you're not walking in what God called you to walk in. Get in your purpose, you'll start doing what it takes to stay in your purpose. It ain't enough to be blessed. It ain't enough to multiply. It ain't enough to be fruitful. It ain't enough to feel. It ain't enough to be accomplished. It ain't enough to do that. Now you got to subdue it. Now this is where I struggle. This is why I had to really see what God meant. Because if you're already in your purpose, if you're already doing what God told you to do, and if you're already blessing the world with your gift, your world, your children, your family, what do I have to subdue? What you got to take over? You got to take over everything that's telling you what you can't be. You got to take over everything that's causing you not to walk in it. You have to conquer everything you've been told. You have to conquer everything people been telling you. And you have to prepare yourself for spiritual war. Because when you find out your purpose, when you find out what God is calling you to be, when you start to bless people with your gift, now the devil coming. Because you are destroying his work. You're keeping the next Trayvon Martin from being shot. You're keeping the next Mike Brown from being shot. You're keeping the next Eric Garner from being killed. You're walking in your purpose. Now you're saving lives. And Jesus said, I come that they may have life, and it more abundantly. And anybody who gonna walk after me and walk in their purpose must give life. Because you have life. Because you have what it takes in you to breathe life. So anybody that's feeling cursed, they don't know God. They can't know God. Because cursed people curse people. Just like we say blessed people, bless people. If you feeling like God didn't make you feel anything, guess what? You're going to spread that negative stuff on to somebody else. You're going to give it to somebody else. You got to be it. You got to subdue it. You have to overcome it. In other words, God is saying you got to give your full attention, your full mind, and gear it for battle. We're not fighting against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in high places that's trying to keep people under what God created them to be. There's no sense of waking up every day useless wandering around without knowing why you were created. No sense in doing it. If it means your life, you got to tell God, show me what I'm put here to do. Some of you already know, we're just scared. You're scared to walk out. You're scared to close your eyes and take the first step. You're scared to do it. You're trying to figure out how many steps it is. You're trying to figure out how you're going to pay a phone bill. You're trying to figure out whether my kid's going to be able to go to the best schools or not. God is saying if you leave your job, I just may bless you with your own school. I may bless you with your own. You may be your own boss. If you're willing to leave that boss. You willing to leave Memphis? I got something for you. You're too scared though. O ye of little faith. Leave your comfort zone. I don't care how old you are. If God tapped you on your shoulder and you still don't know what it is, he's tapping you so that you can find out. I don't care how young you are. If God waking you up and tapping you on the shoulder, he's tapping you so you can find out. And if you already know, he's tapping you so that you can tap into it. This is God's world, and God has put a path for you in the universe to follow. You got to pick up on it. Think about it. If everybody lived their purpose, it'll put the police out of business. It'll put the Justice Department out of business. You won't need it because you got what God has given you.